Are our lives based on nature or nurture? Are our genes predetermined or susceptible to change throughout our lifetimes? Can we change our genes? Well, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Only one of those was a yes or no question. Exactly. This is where epigenetics comes into play. Epigenetics is the change in gene activity or expression without changing the DNA sequence. But before I go any further, I'm going to go into the two most studied and most widely popular mechanisms of epigenetics: methylation and chromatin modification. Methylation is the addition or removal of methyl groups onto the DNA sequence. So let's pretend these methyl groups are an out of order sign. When the methyl groups are added onto the gene basically becomes out of order and is not expressed. Chromatin modification is exactly what it sounds like: modifying the chromatin. Chromatin is a complex made up of histones and DNA tightly wound and found in the nucleus. It can either be tightly wound or more loosely wound, and this can be changed by certain substances. So let's think of a jump rope. When the jump rope is tied up and packed together, I can't use it as well. But when it's loosened up and spread out, it functions perfectly. Now that we know how these changes commonly take place, what about how we can influence them? We all know physical activity, eating right, smoking, environmental pollutants, and mental health can affect our physical bodies, but these are also key factors in epigenetic changes. It was previously believed that all epigenetic modifications would be stripped from the genome before fertilization, and while this is usually true, some modifications get left behind, thus leading to epigenetic changes that can last for generations. Multiple new studies have even linked almost all forms of cancer to epigenetic modifications, and other studies have shown that things such as PTSD and trauma can leave an impact on the epigenome. This study shows that all of these things can be passed down through epigenetic modifications, and while epigenetics is still a new science, understanding these concepts can change the science field in immeasurable ways and possibly bridge the gap between nature and nurture.